What do we say? We watch and we don't judge. Okay. So today is, I'm looking around because I'm looking for my chanclas. Hold on. I want to be comfortable. Oh, please. Okay. So today is, excuse me, ladies. So today is March 20th. And today is day one of realistic day in the life of a stay-at-home mom until I go back to work. You're like, what the hell? So, right, we are 6 weeks and 6 days pregnant. Tomorrow will make 7 weeks pregnant. And with that, I think I mentioned before that my doctor put me at high risk because all of this is medicated, right? We went through an IVF cycle. We went through an embryo transfer. That's why I'm pregnant, or that's how I'm pregnant. So that being said, they put me on like a physical limitation, right? Restriction where I couldn't do a lot of bending, twisting, lifting anything up heavy. A lot of like rigorous or strenuous activity, can't do it for the safety of myself and the baby. With that being said, when you are placed on light or you are requesting light duty and you are placed on a physical restrictions due to pregnancy, CTA, which is my employer, right? CTA has a committee, has a department. They're called Accommodation Request Committee. That's the committee that you put in your request for any accommodation that you need at work, right? So if I can't bend down, lift anything heavy, that means I can't operate the train. She meaning the doctor, also put that I can't operate the train because, truth be told, right, and I think we all know this if you ride the CTA trains and buses, you just never know what type of substance someone is gonna smoke on your train, right? It could be cigarettes, it can be weed, it can be a narcotic. They are doing that, and I have been through many situations where people are smoking on my head car. And so, because there's vents, everything circulates to the same vents in that rail car. Whatever you're doing on my head car, rather you're all the way in the back or right behind me, I can smell it. And I'm not trying to be exposed to that. My doctor was like, absolutely not. No, we don't know. We don't want no illegal substance, even if it's legal or illegal substance, for you to be, exposed to that. So all that to say, I put a request on, I believe it was March 9th. I put the request in to be placed on light duty. And typically, that committee, if you're a train operator, they will send you to a bus garage. So any of the 7 CTA bus garages. And from there is when you'll do video download. You'll do video surveillance, right? So whenever a bus operator has an incident on their bus, of course, CTA wants to look at the footage. And so your job in that moment is to review the footage. I'm not sure what other details are included with that. I'll find out when I'm actually there, which we'll get in that in a moment. So if you're a train operator, I can speak for myself. As a train operator, I can't operate the train. So I'm requesting for light duty. That being said, by that March 10th day, email me back saying like, hey, we got your request. Just, you'll be hear from us soon. That being said, even though you put the request in, they got to find a place for you to go. And until then, you have to just continue working, right? And so, why do I feel like I'm out of breath? Is that normal with pregnancy? And I'm like young in this pregnancy. Knowing that I had to still operate normal, right? There's nothing really that I can do into ARC, which is Accommodation Request Committee. Until they pick me up, I still have to do my responsibilities, right? So I still have to operate a train. I still have to troubleshoot my train. However, on that Friday, so that was on the 13th. No, I'm sorry. Got my dates all wrong. No. So I put the request in the 2nd, March 2nd. March 3rd, they were like, yeah, we got your request. Stand by. March 6th, so 2 Fridays ago. My first trip out. You know, y'all know I'm 126. Leave O'Hare. I'm on old equipment. I'm on 3200. It's my head car. And as I'm breaking into Harlem O'Hare, I see smoke. I see smoke and I smell smoke. And I'm like, that means one or two things. Number one, it means I have a braking issue, right? Either dynamic braking, which is the motors, or I have a parking brake issue, which is the friction brakes, right? Those parking brake are the brakes that actually bring your train to a stop. The motor brakes it slows down your train, right? So that was at Harlem. For me, there was not enough clearance to go track level in between the train and the cement wall that separates the tracks and the expressway, right? I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel like there was enough space for me in the train and the cement wall. So as I'm leaving Harlem, I call control over there on the radio. I'm like, hey, control, this 126 south, leaving Harlem. I see and smell smoke. I could not troubleshoot at Harlem. Is there a 186 at Jefferson Park? Because I'm going to need assistance in troubleshooting. And the reason why, number one, I asked if there was 186. 186 is the call letters for the supervisor that is supposed to be at Jefferson Park, right? He controls like, oh yeah, 186 524, which is the manager, like, hey, you're gonna have 126 at Jeff Park troubleshooting for braking. We don't know if it's dynamic or parking, whatever. They'll be troubleshooting at Jefferson Park. Are you in position, basically, is what they're asking 186. And she goes, yeah, at 10-4, she'll be troubleshooting at Jefferson Park. 126 will be troubleshooting at Jefferson Park. And in that moment, I knew I should have called control over the phone, right? And the reason why I said I needed assistance was because I know that I'm pregnant. Control doesn't know that I'm pregnant. 186, she doesn't know that I'm pregnant unless someone told her. I personally did not tell her. I know my husband didn't personally tell her I was pregnant. So the reason why I even asked for if there was 186 was because I may or may not be able to go track level and troubleshoot my train if I need to. I just wanted someone, in my stupid mind, and I say stupid mind because it's like, okay, I should have known better, but I've never been in a situation. I know I've heard people tell me what I should and should not do, but what can you do? We're here now. It is what it is, right, at this point. So I got to Jefferson Park. And if there's one thing I know about this particular 186 from previous interactions while I'm at Jefferson Park or at any other station, right, that she's working at, I always hear her going short range on the radio. Short range meaning that, if you're in close proximity, you can hear the transmission or you can hear anyone talking on the radio. Long range means everyone that has access to that channel can hear you, right? So short range, close, long range, everyone can hear you, right? So I remember there have been times where I would hear her say like, oh, hey, operator, what you got going on? Or hey, operator, hey, give me 2 minutes here, or whatever the case may be. I have always heard her in the 2 years that I've known her being on the blue line, right? I have always heard her ask the operators, what's going on? What do they need help with? Whatever, right? Whether short or big, or little or big, right? When I got to Jeff, crickets. And I don't want to get into it, but it was personal. I'll just leave it there. I know it was personal. It was, and the smoke was coming from my head car because I saw when I got to Jeff, I saw the smoke again coming out from my head car. When I birthed my train at Jefferson Park, right? So I make an office in my train, like, hey, we'll be sending troubleshooting for a mechanical problem. I go track level, and again, it's the train, me, and the cement wall that divides the tracks in the expressway. I'm down there and I take my sleeve scraper stick. Again, I don't know if you know, but when you have to cut off brakes track level, you need this stick that has like a little hook on it so that you can cut the brakes out. With this troubleshooting technique or exercise, you will, there is a lot of pulling and there's a lot of, pull and push, right? And there's two sections of brakes, or they're called trucks. I don't know how to really explain it after that. There's 2 trucks on the train, so you got to cut out your brakes from the first truck and the second truck, right? So you got to do that 4 times, the pulling and the pushing, the pulling and the pushing. Do it 4 times. By the time I make it back to, and mind you, on this old equipment, if you know anything about the old equipment, if you've heard stories, if you're an operator yourself, old equipment brakes, they're sometimes very, very tight, where you literally have to use all of your body weight to help you pull this. And Adrian, he even afterward, he's like, bro, he's like, if I'm a man, I'm a 250, I think 240, so whatever, 200 plus man that has way more strength than you. If I struggle with this sometimes, what do you think you'll be able to do? Like, hello, like, he's like, why didn't you ask for help? Like, and the reason why he was like, kind of, he was stern with me in that moment was because when I got back to my, back on the train, I got back in my motor cab, I started feeling lightheaded and I started feeling nauseous. And I'm like, me madre. I'm like, oh my God, what did I do, right? And so at that moment, I was okay. So let me see if I can give myself a couple of stops. A lot going on back there. Let me give myself a couple of stops to see if like the nausea and the lightheadedness will go away, like will subside, right? It didn't. In addition, by the time I made it to Western Milwaukee, in addition to feeling nauseous and lightheaded, I felt a really sharp cramp. And at that point, I started bawling. I'm like, what the freak did I do? Why would I started like beating up on myself, right? I'm like, what did you do? Why did you go down there and troubleshoot your dang train? Like, why did you ask, tell control, like, or, whoever, hey, I'll be standing, I need assistance. That's why I asked you for assistance. She, like, right? As I'm leaving Western Milwaukee, the next stop is Damon. So as I'm leaving Western Milwaukee, I call control over the phone. I call control, and luckily it was, if you know, on the other channel, we did a video on a rail controller, and it was him. And, me, him, and Adrian are, we're BBs. We're like, we tight, we locked in. And I was happy that it was him at least, because he's very genuine. He's a very sincere gentleman, and I appreciate him so much. I called him over the phone because we have cell phones on the blue line. I'm like, hey, this 126 South leaving Western. I said, I need medical. He said, what's going on? Like, why do you need medical? I'm like, look, I'm pregnant. And unfortunately, I made the stupid mistake on going down my track level and not asking for assistance with the cutting out the brakes. The brakes were tight. I felt a cramp in my uterus. That is alarming. I'm nauseous and I'm lightheaded. I need medical. So then he goes long range. And he's like, rail control to K524 and all units concerned. We have 126. We have 126 South approaching Damon, Milwaukee. We'll be standing requesting for medical due to her. Mind you, I'm on the phone with him while he's talking on the radio, talking to me, putting it over the air on the radio, and I'm hearing both transmission. I'm like, oh crap, what are you gonna say? Like, due to what? Like, what is he gonna say? And he said, due to her, and it's like maybe a 2-second break. He's like, her pregnancy. I'm like, oh, the cat's out the bag, like they know now. But like, it wasn't necessarily like a secret that I was pregnant. It was just, we just don't want people in your business like that, because some people are just, how people are just weird sometimes, right? So I just didn't want people in my business in that way. Like, if I want you to know my business, it's because I'm in front of the camera or in front of you telling you what's going on, right? So I'm like, all right. He said it over the air. And so at that point, he told me, he's like, all right, get off your train, like, get all your stuff, go to the CA booth. and sit there until we get medical to Damon. I'm like, all right. So I key down my train and get all my stuff. I'm walking on the platform. Halfway down the platform is 183. 183, the supervisor at Damon, Milwaukee. He's walking. He's like, you okay? Like, he's like asking, like, are you okay? I'm like, no. Literally just say no, because I don't really want to talk to him about anything. I'm like, no. And he just like, all right. Like, and because I didn't even stop to tell him no. I kept walking. I said no. So he took over operations on my train, and they did a supervisor relay, meaning each time point or each, so at Damon, the next supervisor at Clark and Lake, the next one's at Jackson. And so until they relay each other, so they have to take over operations at each time point. So that, they got to move their train, right? At the end of the day, you got to worry about yourself. I had to worry about myself and my baby at that point in time. So they called the ambulance. Ambulance came maybe like 5 minutes later, which was really cool. They responded very quickly. I was very grateful for that. They came and they were like, okay, we're going to transport you to St. Mary. I'm like, my doctor's at Northwestern. We're not too far away from Northwestern. Can you please take me there? They're like, we can't. Like, this is the closest hospital. We got to take you to this one. I'm like, all right, fine. They're like, don't worry. They're great people there, great doctors there. Like, you'll be good. Their OB department or, section is really good at this hospital. I'm like, all right, fine. I was telling them what happened, and when they checked my blood pressure was a little bit elevated, and I think that was just because I was like worried. I was legitimately so worried. So I got to the ER. They take me in right away. I didn't even see a waiting room. I was like, wow, glory to God, because I didn't have to wait now 1 minute. They took me to my room. They took my blood pressure. They took my blood so they can check to see pretty much that they wanted to check my hormone, my HCG. At that point, it was like when they came back with it was like 13 something. And so I knew then that I was like legit, pregnant, right? But then I think I was like only like 5 weeks pregnant at that point. And the doctor, she came in, she was like, look, she's like, do you have any like bleeding, like vaginal bleeding? Do you have any of that? I'm like, no, I don't have any of that. I just felt a really sharp cramp because I just did something very strenuous, and I got worried and I got concerned. I wanted to make sure that me and my baby were okay. She's like, okay, you did good. She's like, but also at the same time, you're only 5 weeks pregnant. It's a little too soon to be able to see anything via ultrasound, either vaginally or transvaginally, which is like outside, right? So she was like, we're going to clear you. She's like, but I'm going to clear you with, still physical restrictions. Like, you cannot lift anything over 5 pounds, which is like a gallon of milk. She's like, of course, just wait for your next. This is before, right, the first ultrasound, the 6-week ultrasound, which happened on Monday, the 16th, which is past Monday. So she cleared me, but, with physical restrictions. The supervisor, Adrian met me at the hospital. He met me at the hospital, of course, and I love him for that. Like, my sister, my mom, they came to the hospital too because it was around the corner from my mom's house. So the supervisor came, picked me up, took me back to O'Hare because that's all my stuff was at. I need to turn in my radio, my cell phone, turn back my, my things. And when I got there, the manager, which is 524, he met me there. He's like, okay, well, 2 things. Number 1, we're going to have to drop you. Thing to know, when you are going to request for medical, just know that when you get back to the terminal, they're going to drop you for drugs and alcohol. I'm like, do what you got to do. You're going to find that I'm hella pregnant. That's fine. Like, so he did a breathalyzer that came back 0, of course. And they did a swab. Sometimes it's either like urine or swab. I think with the swab, the saliva, they can detect more things than the urine. So do what you got to do. You're not going to find nothing. But for me, that was cool because I knew that for the next like week or so, I'll be sitting at work, not operating, because when they do those drops, those random drops, or, this was at least we known the drop was coming, they put you on platform because they got to wait for the results to come back. So they did that. And then the manager, he opened up a workman's comp claim. And this is the part that like, it's like if I'm literally telling you I'm not going IOD, which is injury on duty, if I'm telling you I'm not going IOD, if I'm telling you that nothing's gonna transpire from here into the next 72 hours, don't even open that dang on claim, because I'm still in the process of trying to have Cedric, which is our lead management company that CTA uses. I'm still going back and forth with them to close the claim so that it doesn't mess up my regular FMLA. It's a lot. So on yesterday, the 19th, on yesterday, ARC, which is that committee that decides if they'll be able to pick you up, if they'll be able to accommodate your request, right? They emailed me yesterday and they're like, oh, before I say that, the senior manager, he came in, this was on Monday, the Monday after the incident, so that was the 9th. He saw me, of course I was on platform, or, no RTO, so I was just sitting at work, wasn't operating. He put me into the office. He was like mad. He was like, why didn't you tell any of us you were pregnant? I was like, number one, I didn't think I had to tell you per se. I told my clerks. I told admin manager on the blue line. And I told supervisor on the blue line. So there were multiple people that knew that I was pregnant. And it was almost like he just made it seem like he wanted me to tell him. I was like, dude, you want me to hit you up on something like, oh, controls, transfer me to senior manager? No, like, that's number one. And so he said until ARC picks me up, I had to be placed on out of service, which means that it's unpaid until ARC picks me up. Because DK, like Ayali said, the streets were saying that when you say you're high risk, CTA doesn't want you on property. The only reason why I'm high risk is because of the type of work that I do. Let's just be honest. I am only high risk because I operate a train. I am exposed to I'm exposed to harmful substances. I have to go track level if needed to troubleshoot my train. I can't lift more than 10 pounds. I'm 200 pounds. You got to pull yourself up. I'm only light duty. I'm high risk because requesting light duty because of the type of work that I do. And this is what I told one of the girls, one of the operators, T. I was telling her about what was going on, and she was like, damn, am I going to have to go there when I'm pregnant? I'm like, I said, don't let my situation and don't let my story or my experience and my journey, discourage you to get pregnant or try to have kids. Do not let it, because every situation has been different from just hearing from other stories and from my story and my experience. Because it's also depending on how you perceive the information that you receive, right? There was times where I've heard that the ARC committee, that they're mean and, they don't understand because they're not in your position. I've heard stories of managers, picking and choosing who they want to be cool with and who they want to be nice to and how they want to accommodate you. Look, at the end of the day, I give myself the reality I want to give myself, meaning I don't even allow anybody else. I don't even allow the universe, the world. I don't allow any of those entities, people included, I don't allow them to give me what I'm asking for. I give it to myself first. I ask God to give me the wisdom and the power in my mind to create the reality that I want. So if I think I'm going to have a hard situation about something, most likely it's going to happen that way. But if I walk into a situation or I walk into a conversation like, damn, like, it's going to be tough. They're going to cuss me out. She's going to be he's going to do this. No. I walk into it knowing that I'm the creator of my own reality. And I walk into every situation knowing that I'm protected by God at the end of the day. So I feel like I rambled, which is fine because you guys like rambles. But it also does give me the opportunity to just give you an update of what's been happening. For the last 2 weeks, I was at work but not working. I was getting paid, of course. But now that ARC picked me up, they offered me unpaid time off until June 30th. It could happen before or it could happen a little bit after. where I'm at home. My job is protected, right? Because they pick me up. They offer me the unpaid time off until June 30th. That being said, me and you finna be locked in, mama. Me and you, we finna be locked in, papa, okay? Because what am I going to do for the next 2.5 months? What am I going to do? Create content? Because if not, I'm just sitting here doing nothing. It's going to drive me crazy. You know, we can unpack. We still got to unpack a lot of things in the apartment. We moved in, 2 weeks ago? Still not fully unpacked. That's normal. I'm taking my time with that. That's stressful as it is. You know, we're going to go on walks. We're going to cook together. We're going to try out new hair products, some new skin products. So take the girlies out once in a while. Meet up, you know, Adrian after work so we can go film something. So your favorite bag lady is out of commission on the train. But your favorite bag lady is front and center on this content. So all of that to say, I appreciate you guys. And we're about to go get ready. I need to take a shower, wash my hair, maybe take the girls out. I think I want to, because what I need to go do is, because I want to make milk. We make our own milk because we don't drink cow's milk. We drink oat milk. We drink almond milk. And so instead of actually buying it at the store, we make it ourselves because we do have a milk maker, and I can bring that out when I'm ready to make it. But for me, I like drinking, my favorite milk to drink is oat milk. And you just take you buy oats. I got some dates to make it a little bit more sweet. And you make it like that. But I ran out of oats and I never bought any the last time we went to Cermak. So I'm gonna take a ride to Cermak, pick up some oats, maybe like just a little container, like the Quaker brand or whatever. And then come back and make some milk. He also wants me to make cashew milk. This is the following milks that we've made. We made pecan milk, oat milk, cashew milk, almond milk. He also has made peanut milk. We have peanuts here. But he wants me to make cashew. So, y'all ready to be with me? Day one on the realistic day in the life of a stay-at-home mom until I go back to work. And my 2 fishes down here. I love them. All right. I'm gonna get ready. I'll see y'all later. Okay. So we're back. Showered, did my hair for society and for myself. The girls out, took care of business with that. Had to lint roll myself. If you know anything about dogs, some of them are physical touch and they didn't get the memo that I'm wearing all black. And they're like, no, mama, we physical touch, we're gonna lay up against you. So before I actually hit society and I hit the streets, I had to hit up this lint roller. Let me pack my things. Catch y'all later.
Why are you going back and forth? I can't keep up with your mood swings. What is troubling your mind? Are you doing this just to test me? I'm bad at handling this type of thing. Why I don't get it, you say it's a man thing. Babe, I wanna be your rock. I just wanna make your heart sing. But you're not letting me get through to you. Yeah. If you let your guard down, baby, this is what I'll do. Come on, baby. Love you, I will love you. I will love you like a queen. I will love to take you to a place you've never been. Love is trouble in your mind? Babe, why can't you just tell me? I just wanna be your bride, wanna be. I wanna give our love away. So you're not letting me, yeah, get through to you. Yeah, if you let your guard down, baby, this is what I'll do. I'll do. Love you, I will love you, I will love you like a queen. I would love to take you to a place you've never been. Love you, I will love you, I will love you like a queen. I would love to take you to a place you've never been before.
We're on the way to meet Adrian, but we made a pit stop to get our Havana or oatmeal so we can make oat milk later. I just spent $8.23 on this big container on this 2-pound oatmeal Quaker, because the Quaker and the whatever generic brand they have here was the same cost. I went with the name brand. You see what I'm saying? Duh, that was a no-brainer. So we're walking back to the Diversity bus stop so we can catch the bus to Logan Square Blue Line so we can meet Adrian. All right, so I'm back home. Adrian went to go walk the dogs. So we did everything except what we said we were gonna do. I am tired. Mama wants to lay down. I got my oats at least. Tomorrow, me and you are going to be making the juice because those ingredients are about to go really bad and we don't need to go bad. And we're also gonna make milk tomorrow. So oat milk, and I think he said he wants cashew milk. And then I'm gonna make smoothies tomorrow with you guys. So that's that. Thanks so much for hanging out with me on day 1 of Real Estate in the Life of a Stay-at-Home Mom until I go back to work. That is such a long title, but that's okay. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Until tomorrow.